Virtual reality is almost a reality for gamers willing to spend a couple of $100s. But with the HTC Vive, the Oculus Rift and PlayStation VR all hitting the market this year, things tend to become kinda confusing. So that's why I'm here. I'm going to tell you all the pros and cons on these three headsets. My name is Robert, you're watching Hot Coffee. For this video, I will not talk about the Samsung Gear VR or any Google Cardboard with your phone thingies, because this is about the high-end products. This is about the real deal. So if you're interested in virtual reality games, virtual reality experiences, or virtual reality pornography, here we go! The Oculus Rift will be available from March 28th for $599 or 699 euros. It comes bundled with an Xbox One controller and two video games, Eve Valkyrie and Lucky Steel. You will need a decent PC with an Nvidia GTA 970 graphics card, an Intel i5 processor and 8GB of RAM to be able to run the VR system. This will set you back another $1,000 if you don't have any of these specs. The Oculus touch controllers will be launched in autumn and need to be bought separately. The HTC Vive is with its $799 even more expensive, but when it launches on April 5th it already includes its Move controllers. It requires the same minimum specs as the Oculus Rift, but instead of 8GB of RAM it requires just 4GB. And for this one you would also need a very decent PC, costing you another $1,000 once again if you don't have such a PC. If you will pre-order the HTC Vive, you will get the game Job Simulator for free. When it comes to pricing, the PlayStation VR seems to be in a good spot. Its starter kit sells for $399, but you do need a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation camera to be able to use it, adding another $400. The VR headset includes some VR experience software and the VR Playroom. And by the way, Move controllers are optional. So the HTC Vive is the most expensive one and the PlayStation VR the cheapest. But what do you get for all that money? The Oculus Rift has 1080 by 1200 pixels per eye. It has a 110-degree field of view and a refreshment rate of 90 Hz per second. With the Oculus Rift there are sensors that track your head movement in 360 degrees and it has integrated audio speakers. The HTC Vive also boosts 1080 by 1200 pixels per eye. Its OLED screen also refreshes 90 frames per second. The HTC Vive includes all kinds of sophisticated hardware including gyroscopes and laser trackers. Every body movement can be translated into a game movement, thanks to these sensors and the two-handed controllers that come with it. You do require a 15 square feet space though, to be able to play freely. When it comes to resolutions, the PlayStation VR is the little kid. The OLED screen boosts 960 by 1080 pixels per eye. However, the refreshment rate of the screen is 120 frames per second, which makes it ideal for playing video games. The PlayStation VR does require a PlayStation camera and provides the same amount of movement and freedom as the Oculus Rift. This headset produces two images, one for the wearer of the headset and a second one that can be shown on screen for when you're playing with other people. The hardware can be superior, but in the end it all comes down to software. Let's talk games, experiences, pornography. Oculus had an open approach towards the development of its headset. Dev kits were pretty easy to obtain and already dozens of games support the device. Out of the three headsets, this one is open for everybody, so even a creative programmer can create a game, software or virtual reality experience and sell it on its own website. The HTC Vive is using a more closed system for its game distribution. This headset is made by technology company HTC and gaming company Valve, which means that Steam will be the main distribution platform. However, this should not be a big obstacle for many developers, considering the amount of crap already available on Steam. PlayStation VR seems to be the one with the most closed system, because you need a PlayStation 4 to be able to use this device anyway. As a consumer, you can at least be sure that the VR games you play are of a decent quality. But sorry kiddo, no virtual porn for you. So each of these headsets have their own advantages. The PlayStation VR is of course the easiest one to use because it's built into this closed system. And the financial investment you need to make into PlayStation VR is not as big as when you would have the high-end experience of HTC Vive or even Oculus Rift. Theoretically, with the HTC Vive you get the most sophisticated virtual experience you can imagine. It's like top of the line, best of the best. But it does require a big space in your house and money. And of course you have to deal with the limitations of Steam. The Oculus Rift might be the less powerful little brother of the HTC Vive. It's also less expensive. Its most interesting feature is the openness of the system. Everybody can make a game, which could provide you with some interesting stuff. Let me know in the comments whether you're jumping in virtual reality and let me know which system you're going to get. My choice is the PlayStation VR.